Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of ClueCon Weekly. Joining us this week is Krunal Patel from Ecosmob, an old friend of ClueCon Weekly and of the open source community, and the Chief Revenue Officer of Ecosmob Technologies. But I know you've also been an engineer in a previous, previous role, previous life. So I'll ask you a few
Yeah,
questions about that. First of all, thank you for joining us today, Krunal.
thank you, Luca. Thank you for having me.
So probably most people know what Ecosmob does, but could you please give us an introduction about what Ecosmob does about yourself?
Sure, not a problem. So, Ecosmob started in 2007, and since then we have been developing and delivering custom softwares for different web service providers. Uh, of course, the solution is not limited to class 4 switch, class 5 soft switch, contact centers, PBX systems, and unified communication platforms. And apart from that, we have also started working for different MVNOs and filling gaps in the market right now for the MVNOs.
Nice. And so you're now the Chief Revenue Officer at Ecosmob. More on that later, but I'm curious. You started as an engineer, right?
Yes, so I joined the company back in 2007. So basically, since the inception of the company, I'm there. I joined as a software developer. So it's been 9 to 10 years. I was in engineering, and then being having the technical knowledge. Um, so as you know, that technical person can understand the needs better, right? So then I moved to sales, and now I'm heading the sales team. And so wearing multiple hats right now, but yeah, majorly looking after the sales.
Do you miss engineering? That's a like question.
Uh, Actually, frankly speaking, like I do miss engineering, but not much because as part of uh, my day-to-day activities, I'm guiding a lot of business analyst people, right? As well as you know, in our industry, majority of the customers are technical people, right? So
Yeah.
even if you are communicating with the customer, you are talking tech, right? So yes, I am no longer doing the coding, but yes, I am talking tech with the customer, understanding their problems and providing the solutions. So the other way I would say that
Nice. Yeah.
I am enjoying doing the
You
sales.
still do some technical stuff. Okay.
Yes, and solving the problems of the customers.
So in the last few months, I've been working amongst other things on UCAS, Unified Communications, and a few solutions around that. And I know Ecosmob is doing some work in that area too. So I'm curious. I'm really curious to hear what you're doing because we've been working on something too.
Right, right. So regarding the unified communication, so as you know that if we talk about a decade back, right, or few years back, right, the VoIP service providers were focusing more on the retail VoIP services, right? And as we know that there is a very thin margin in the retail VoIP services, so majority of the service provider have already moved providing services to enterprises, right? So
Yeah.
with that vision, and now like everyone wants to have uh, everyone wants to provide the services faster, right? So they want to start the business and start generating the revenue faster. So not everyone have time to go to market. Okay, so considering that problem, right, we have started building kind of a solution in the unified communication where, let's say, it will be having 60 to 80 percentage of base solution, right? And whenever any requirement comes up, we simply customize it based on that specific use cases and deliver. So the whole idea is to reduce the delivery time.
You think that unified communications is going to be predominant in the market and come, I think, 1 or 2 years, and all we'll be using is unified communication platforms. Like it's moving
Yes,
that fast in that direction.
yes. So yes, based on our understanding, yes, it is going to be predominant. And I think for next couple of years, the unified communication is going to be the must for any organization. Because
Yeah,
even if we talk about, so even if we talk about like in our day-to-day communication as a part of any organization, right? We are using multiple communication channels. We are using audio calls, video calls. With some people, we are communicating over WhatsApp. If there are customer care services, then they are also communicating over the social media to handle the different support tickets, right? So if so right now we are using multiple communication channels in different platforms. If everything is in single platform, then become ease of use.
Definitely, yeah. So there's one thing. I think the push towards unified communication is tied into something I've been seeing in the market, which maybe we can talk about too. There's a lot of carriers, especially MVNOs, who are launching data-only services. Funnily enough,
Right.
maybe they're specialized, like it's only an area where there's no true coverage, or there is for example, a satellite-based network. So a lot of
Hmm.
those don't even have the IMS core running
Right.
inside. It's just data.
Right.
So I think that's a big push. We're seeing a lot of that, like many new networks, specialized networks, maybe their own, again, special areas, factories, ships. Setting up an
Right.
IMS core is pointless because you don't really need all of that. All they do is
Right.
data.
Right.
And so maybe that's a good segue into the second question. So you also work with MVNOs, right? Do you?
True, true. So we also provide services to MVNOs, okay? And so there are multiple type of MVNOs. A couple of them I would like to mention is like light MVNOs or and the full MVNOs. So full MVNOs who have their own IMS core, right? Whereas the
Mhm.
light MVNO, which the example you mentioned, that they simply provide the data, right? So they sell the eSIMs. So majority of the case where they are providing or targeting the travelers who is traveling abroad and they want simple data for 15 days for that particular countries, right? So normally these
Oh,
are the
nice. Yeah.
light MVNOs, right? So apart from so if we talk about the MVNOs, then there are multiple use cases they are serving, right? And the MV because of the MVNOs, the MNO may not need to focus on those use cases and simple have the MVNOs kind of their resellers, right? So that generates different revenue for the MNOs. Okay, so yes, we are providing services to MVNOs, and we also have a couple of partners. So it's more like we do the front facing, use some existing softwares, and on top of that, we focus on providing custom self-care portals, self-care applications like that. So wherever it comes customization, we take care of that.
Mhm.
And and
Yeah.
and
So
uh, and regarding the MVNOs, as you mentioned about the data, right? So if the MVNO just provide the data, right, they can have the voice and SMS services on top of it, where the VoIP infrastructure comes into the picture, right? And apart from that, there can be some MVNOs who wants to target just the businesses, just the enterprises, where the combination of MVNO services and the unified communication comes into the picture.
yeah, the I think MVNOs. Another thing I'm seeing in MVNOs is specialized MVNOs. Like
Right,
not just someone who goes into the market and saying, "I am the new phone provider. Come use me instead of someone else because I'm better or
right,
whatever." But instead,
right,
specialized like IoT only, or they are specialized for people who travel, and thus they are maybe less good if you're just local, but they give
right,
you a lot of services if you're traveling. I think that's
right,
another thing that
right,
the segmentation of the market is enabling. So
right.
there's a lot of need for
So
services like yours.
exactly. So MVNOs are specialized for particular business use cases or particular industry, right? So where MNOs cannot reach or MNOs
Hmm.
cannot provide the services, like specialized services. Yeah. So that's where we come into the picture and we can fulfill their specific business use cases and build the custom services or valued services as per their needs, utilizing the VoIP infrastructures or mobile applications or any web portals and stuff.
Yeah, there is a lot going on in that market,
Right,
really,
right,
and it's very decoupled from classic telephony. I don't even know
Right.
how many people make phone calls anymore. I don't use it much. I
E-
was noticing. I just do.
Exactly.
It's I don't know. I maybe I do a half an hour calls a month. Really, I just occasionally
Mm,
call my parents. That's all I do.
right.
So it is. It's
So so
it's really
now
it's really changing.
so now it is more like OTT as far as you have internet
Yeah.
connection, and over the top you provide different services, right?
Speaking of which, does Ecosmob work on the OTT side, or do you also provide some IMS and protocol services?
So at Ecosmob, like so our strength is to build custom solutions, right? So as such, we are not providing any services, okay? But yeah, we have recently partnered with SignalWire, okay? So you already know that. So we are working further to work Ecosmob and SignalWire work together and provide this services to customers out there.
Yeah, the goal there is really to get into the media path, starting from over the top and then going into the IMS. Which I mean, IMS is it's so complicated that I don't
True,
not many people actually need IMS
true,
help. I actually prefer working with lightweight MVNOs
right,
because they have SIP pipes coming in and out, and it just works. As opposed to the full MVNOs, which are trickier.
right,
You're absolutely right. So
right.
speaking of, well, go ahead.
And for the light MVNOs, true, because the implementation time for the light MVNOs is comparatively less, as there are not so many different moving pieces in it, right? And also for them, also they don't need to get involved in complicated integrations or complicated licensing stuff.
And I'm happy about the partnership because it enables us to provide services faster, which is,
Yes,
we build service, so not being able to interact with some customers is Ecosmob helps with that a lot by running the project. So looking forward to what's going to come out of this. It's very interesting. So, question for you. Just change
yes,
topics.
sir.
You are the chief revenue officer. So you know where people are making money because where you make money is where people make money. What do you think is going to be the markets where the market, like companies in our space, will make money in the next months and years? Like, what's the next big thing? Is it AI? Is it something else?
Well, as you know, there are a lot of words are coined or being spoken during last couple of years, and AI, big data, machine learning, right? There are a lot of things. Even like yes, there. So in VoIP, or I would say real time communication. So as you know, real-time communication is going to be there for ages, right? Because we are human, we cannot live without communication, right? We want to communicate with each other, right? Whether it is in person or it is over the like remotely or virtually, right? We want to communicate, okay? So if the technology may change, but the communication will remain there, okay?
Yeah.
So
The
we just need to come up with different ideas or different technologies to stay there and provide or solve the different real-time communication related challenges.
so you most likely have a lot of call center. I mean, call center as a service or call center customers.
Right.
So, flat question: do you think AI is going to replace call center agents anytime soon? I'm asking because there's a lot of people who say yes, and a lot of people who say absolutely no. So, I'm curious to see what your opinion is.
So actually, we even internally we had a debate.
Oh,
I think
nice.
couple of months back, right? And my take on that was that AI is there to enhance the performance of the agent. Okay,
Hmm.
so for an example, so right now, whenever you are in a call center, right? If you think as a call center agent perspective, right? They are given or traditional way like they have a predefined script, right? And if any caller asks particular question, they scroll from the script, right? And it takes
Yeah.
time, right? So what if the AI is there, which tells them, so if the caller asks something, right, and AI simply pops up, okay, this is the answer, and they just uh, think and provide the answer, right? So the AI should be there, but it is to enhance their performance, enhance their productivity. Okay, I don't see that AI will replace the uh, human agents. Okay, even if I am talking, if I am calling to any customer care, and if there is a so I'm willing to communicate with a person because that can resolve my problem faster, right? So AI needs to be there, but it is to enhance the performance or kind of reduce overall time frame. Okay, if the call center agents are busy and no one is there, then yes, AI can kick in the call and then understand the needs and then provide the answer. But if it is there for the agent, connected with the agent, then enhance their performance, and the call can instead of taking the call for 2 minutes or 6 minutes, it can reduce to 1 minute or 3 minutes, like that. So they can, the agents can take more calls in a single day.
Yeah, I feel like for now you're probably I fully agree with it. You perfectly articulated what I was thinking, but you know the market better, so you said it better than I could ever. Yeah, you're right. Right now it's going to be a helper tool. I don't think it's
Right,
going to replace agents in the super near future. You know, I
right.
don't know. 3 years from now, we'll see. 3 years
Yeah,
from now,
let's
and
let's
many.
consider the horizon of 3 to 5 years where the human agents will be there.
Yeah, then we'll see. I mean, at some point, this will become good enough to replace an agent, but not right now. When you're
Right.
calling an inbound call center, especially when you need something,
Mhm.
you call in if you need something.
Right.
So it feels like it's going to be for now having someone on the having someone on the call is really very important. The
Right.
it's so for now I mean AI can do a very good job at some things. So we'll see. But for now, helping is more important than replacing.
Right.
So
So if there are just like informative, then it is okay, right? But sometimes people expects human on the other side, right? So it is like I would not say that AI may not replace, okay, but it will take time. Right now, it is
yeah,
completely enhancing the productivity of the agents.
definitely. Oh, so well, obligatory question. Ecosmob has a lot of people working on a lot of projects, and there's
Right.
always something interesting going on. So, what are, without naming, if you cannot name them, what are the most interesting projects you've been working on in the last few months, or will be working soon?
Well, that's a tricky question. So, I would say that just uh, yesterday, like we received a testimonial or an achievement from one of our customer where the basically there is a class 4 soft switch hosted for one of the customer, right? And we received a mail from them just today morning that stating that okay, we achieved 10,000 simultaneous calls in that. So now we are going to work on the next milestone where it will be like 15,000 to 20,000 simultaneous calls. So yeah,
Nice. There's
so that's the recent one, I would say. Otherwise,
that's big.
apart from that, we have been working on. So now we are focusing more on the virtualizations and like large scale carrier grade infrastructures, which which has Dockerization, Kubernetes, and those components, right? So that we can have the auto scaling capability, right? So we are working on those type of infrastructure these days. So microservices architecture, including even like basically the message broker and stuff. so
Yeah,
where we can have distributed architecture, right? And we can achieve better performance.
we had one
So
of
that's
your experts
interesting going on right now. Yeah,
podcast a few months ago. It was very interesting. We had
yeah,
someone from your team talking about Kubernetes a few months ago. It was very
yep,
interesting, especially because Kubernetes adoption is still a hot topic in the voice over IP communications world, etc. Because everybody thinks there's some issues with it. It's indeed not easy to set up. Docker's Swarm is much simpler. Well, Kubernetes still has a
right,
lot of challenges. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that, and maybe we can set up another call so you can tell me how the scaling
definitely.
experience went a few months from now. Because frankly, it's where it looks like everybody's trying to get that going, but
Mhm.
it's still work in progress for many people. I don't know how to put it.
So we have
It's a
done,
learning.
we have done couple of, I would say, proof of concepts. Even in one of the products and environment, we have completed that. Okay, so my team knows having the know-how of those challenges, and they have overcome those challenges. So now we are confident that okay, we can implement this auto scaling infrastructure using Docker and Kubernetes, right? And having distributed architecture. So now we are, and as we are focusing more on large scale systems or the projects, right? So in that, this is the kind of must have these days.
Yeah. Yeah, the idea distributed services lead into, we go back to where we started. Distributed services lead into MVNOs and 5G
Right,
and edge deployed services. You need to have that. Are you, by the
right.
way, that's a good question. Have you been experimenting with 5G edge services yet? Is it something that's on your radar? What's going on in that space?
Not exactly. So at Ecosmob, we are not focusing much on the 5G side, right? We so at least for next couple of years, we would like to focus more on the application layer, right? And so just have the customers build the validated services, right? And yes, we are working towards getting more knowledge about the 5G, and even now people are talking more about the 6G. So let's see.
Yeah, it's we've been doing a lot of work on localized 5G cells. So
Uh-huh.
deploying parts of signal wire on a single 5G cell or on a set of them in an environment like a factory or a ski
Hmm.
resort or places
Right.
that don't have or a boat, a ship like
Hmm.
cruise ships where there is no connectivity other than that, and it's proven rewarding. Like there's a lot coming out of that. It's very
Right.
interesting, but at the same time, it's not easy at all. And I think
True. True.
understanding how the real edge, like this is not the real edge. What I'm describing is just running software on a different
Hmm.
computer that happens to be in a 5G cell. In understanding the real edge, like how we can interact with, I don't know, the Verizons of the world. The Verizon is a very good edge network, by the way, or a
Right.
T-Mobile, which also have a good. It's probably going to be key in being there first.
Hmm.
And although, I'll be fair, the main use cases are too heavy for those right now because you could run artificial intelligence on a 5G node, but it's too heavy right
Hmm.
now. So we're still trying to find the right sweet spot. So I'm with you. It's
Hmm.
for now. It's almost a hobby. Like we're having fun with it and seeing
Right.
how it
Right.
works.
Right.
Cool.
So it's good to know. It's good to know that signal wire is working in 5G. So if we come up with something, definitely we can utilize our partnership in
Oh,
that.
absolutely. That's let's chat anytime.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure. We've been doing a lot of experimentation. We were working with a team called
Hmm.
Telet from England, from the UK. We
Hmm.
provide very good 5G cells and service, and it's
Hmm.
been very interesting so far. And first deployments are going out pretty soon. There's a lot going on there. I feel like 5G at the moment, and this is a feeling I get every time I go to an expo or a convention, is
Hmm.
that the big players in the industry spent a lot of money buying the 5G equipment and now want
Right.
to make something out of it. It's really just that. So we gave Ericsson $5 billion. So now what do we do to get those $5 million back? It's literally that. Like
Right.
monetizing 5G could be the title of any conference you go to right now. Like
Right.
it's all open to
Uh,
talk about.
Just to relate with that, actually, one of the conference I attended recently, right? And in that, this was one of the topic, how to monetize 5G.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah,
is.
you are right.
It is.
So
I mean, just they could change the name of every conference to monetizing 5G Barcelona, monetizing 5G Las Vegas, because it's just everything people want to talk about. So I think
right,
Signawire, Ecosmob, people in the industry that have understanding of the underlying technology are in a very good position right now, because if we can hit the right amount of added value on top of those services, there's a lot to be gotten out of that, and it's not easy, so the competition is not as fierce, because
right,
it's, you need to know a lot of things to actually be able to deploy. Like we make it easy because SignalWire and Ecosmob know things, but it's not as easy for everybody. So it is it's a good market. It's gonna be a while, but we'll see what comes out of that. Well, so are you attending any conferences anytime soon?
yes. So in the month of October, we are actually attending UGM, which is event of NetSapiens. So one of our representative will be there, and and yeah, next year we will be there again for the ClueCon.
Of course.
So we are,
And
as you know, we are regular exhibitor and sponsor at ClueCon. So yeah,
it's always fun to have you there, and
right,
yeah, ClueCon is a great conference. I love it. It's my
right.
favorite. I've been a SignalWire for almost 5 years now, probably more, but I've been to 12 ClueCons, so I've been there much before the the SignalWire even started, and it's always my favorite conference. It's small, one track. You don't lose any talks, and it's always very very interesting. Although I
Right.
have to say, I have enjoyed NWC in Barcelona. I went there for the first time this year, and I was expecting just people trying to sell stuff to each other, which is the
Mhm.
usual feel you get. Instead, it was very interesting. There's actually technology on show, and you can talk to people who will be happy to explain the technology. Well, including
Right.
SignalWire, we had a booth there this year, and it's
Right.
very interesting. Like ClueCon is my favorite, but probably MWC right now is my second favorite.
Right. Yeah. So
Cool.
uh, yes. So MWC, I think we have not attended MWC, but yeah, we are. It's in our radar right now. Okay, because we also consider that MWC can be like you go there, understand what's next going on in these technologies, right? So yes.
That's the
So
feeling I got to. It's there's a lot of what's coming next, even just the
right.
new devices or some special communication system, whatever. There's a lot there. It's very well organized. So yeah, and
Right.
then you go to NWC, get the ideas, and then you come to ClueCon and learn how to build them. So it's perfect.
Yeah. True. True. So probably next
Cool.
time we
So
will meet together in ClueCon as well as in MWC.
oh yeah, please. Super happy to. I'm always there, so super happy to meet you.
Right.
Well, Brunel, thank you so much for the chat today. It was super interesting. We went through a lot of topics, and it's always I thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Like we don't always have a C-level person on the program, so I'm super happy to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Luca. Thanks for having me. And anytime for ClueCon. And yeah, as you know, like we have been working together since long. So yeah,
Yeah,
we are just
absolutely. So
strengthening our
well,
relation.
today's guest was Krunal Patel, Chief Revenue Officer at Ecosmob, old friend of SignalWire and ClueCon and all things engineering and VoIP. And well, thank you for joining us today, Krunal.
Thank you, Luca.
And for the rest of the people, I'll see you next week. Goodbye.